Good afternoon and welcome to the March 2nd, 2023 meeting of the Rotary Club of Orlando. I would like to extend a special welcome to all visiting Rotarians and guests today. We're very happy that you could join our meeting. Now, please let me start the meeting with an invocation from Harry Voorhees.
Would you bow your heads, please? Our Heavenly Father, it is proper and fitting for us to take a moment and to turn our attention to you, to see who you are and what you have done for us. You're the creator of it all, and you have given us wisdom and direction as to what we should do, and we thank you for that. And I just ask at this time that you bless this meeting, bless the people here, and bless the food that they're enjoying, and bless the Rotary Club of Orlando, which is known to be the best. In Jesus' name we pray.
All right, thank you, Harry. All right, now, I should have done this earlier, but please silence your cell phones if you have not already done so. And I would like to continue the meeting with patriotic music from Ken Chapman.
Mr. President, I'm so honored to be a member of the Rotary Club of Orlando. I still believe we are one nation under God. Let's sing together, My Country 'Tis of Thee. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom bring. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless Rotary.
Thank you, Ken. Great job as always. Continuing on, we'd like to introduce, is this microphone on? All right, thank you. Continuing on, I'd like to introduce all of our guests and visitors. Judge Allison Kirsties, Your Honor.
Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. Hello. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We would like to welcome all of our guests and visitors today. When I call your name, if you could please stand up so we can welcome you. Today we have 5 guests. Our first is Mike Chapman, who is a guest of Jim Saul. Next, we have Larson Smith, who is a guest of Eddie Clark. Next, we have Jim Alifat, who's a guest of Denny's. And we have Mary Crimmins, who is a guest of George Huffman. And last but not least, we have Steve Carestes, who is my guest. And now we will give you our special Rotary greeting.
Hello, stranger, gather round. Welcome to our friendly town. Don't feel lonesome, let's shake hands. You're among Rotarians. Sit down.
All right. Yeah, you don't leave. Okay, could I have your attention, please? I just want to point out one thing. Rotarians are always very polite, and I know a Rotarian would never talk amongst yourselves while a speaker is speaking. So I would ask you to please take a look at that and see if you're having a conversation in the background, keep it down to a minimum, and please give your attention to the person who's speaking at the podium. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce our Sergeant at Arms, Jim Saul, to come up here. And Jim's company is sponsoring the meeting today, so he's going to introduce his guest.
Thank you, David. I'll call Mike Chapman up. Guys, we are working with SWAT and mosquito control, and we are also Evergreen. We are together, and I just want to introduce Mike for a quick word.
Hi, everybody. Jim and I have known each other about 25 years. We worked at Middleton together.
Yeah.
We were actually competitors because we were both in sales. And he wiped me clean every month. But I gained such a respect for Jim. And through the years, we've stayed in touch. And so I offered him the position at Evergreen, and he took it. And I'm glad to have him here.
Thanks.
And I am a fellow Rotarian. I was in Rotary in Crystal River for 12 years. I think that's a good club too. But I don't know about the best, but I strongly support Rotary. It is a wonderful, wonderful foundation and organization.
Guys, we have some information on the table for you. Let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. I've been asked to remind everyone that our Rotary Scholarship Program is still up accepting applications. So if you know a deserving student who would like to apply for a scholarship from the Rotary Club of Orlando, pass the information on to the Board of Directors through Bill Pieper. Is that right? Okay, go through Bill Pieper. Also would like to do I'd like to call John Stein up here. John, if you could please give us an update on the golf tournament.
Can anybody read this? I hope not, because we're going to have to get it out to you. This is the flyer that we will be using for our golf tournament that's going to benefit Second Harvest Food Bank. May the 8th, Monday, it will be at the Palm Course at Disney. Now I'm going to ask for your help. I need volunteers, at least a couple of volunteers, to help with gathering of gifts and creating the silent auction and the prizes and the raffle prizes. We will have both of those at the barbecue dinner. So please volunteer. We're a service club, and we need your help as Rotarians to make this a successful event, just as you had done with the poker event. So come to me, and Britt Lovett is the guy that is creating Rotary golfers to participate in this event. So please take your time, volunteer, come to me and see what you can do for us, because we're going to do something for the Second Harvest Food Bank. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. We appreciate that. And now it's time for Happy Dollars. So Denny, where is Denny Carrere? There he is. Grab that microphone, Denny.
Got it. Okay, we're going to continue our history Rotary. Last left you in 1910 when Rotary had its first convention. You know, service was not something that was initially adopted by Rotary. This was a friendship group that was really a leads group. But after the convention, they officially adopted service, but they had recognized that well before. What was the first thing that the Rotary Club of Chicago did to help others as far as projects were concerned? No, you're close. They bought a horse for a doctor who traveled rurally so he could make house calls. Now, what was the first official project that Rotary, what did they build in Chicago downtown? An outhouse. For that humble bidding, everything got going. Anybody with any money? Anything safe for the common good? Heidi does. A resident songbird.
I just want to welcome our little guest at our table today, Layla. She's a good eater and a great conversationalist.
She's also extremely quiet. She's amazing. I don't know what you did, Mike, but whatever, it's working. Rich wants to say something.
Okay, I have $10. I want to, first of all, welcome Oscar. Oscar is visiting us from Ecuador, and he didn't fill out a name, but I wanted everybody to meet him. I've been online with him. He started emailing me in Spanish, and I don't know how to speak Spanish. So I went out and got Google Translate, and I translated it. So I'm communicating with him in a language I know nothing about what we're going to do. So he was disappointed when he came and found out I couldn't speak Spanish. So anyway, so Oscar, welcome. He's going to come and visit us quite a bit while he's here. Sunday, I'm leaving for 2 weeks on a cruise, so I won't be here. So.
No, there's a surprise.
In 1912, Rotary actually became international. What Rotary Club did we let in from outside the country? What was the first non-US Rotary Club? No. You were right, it was Canada. No, it was Winnipeg. Okay, what was the first non-English speaking club in the Rotary world? Don't say Miami. It was in 1915. It was Havana. Anybody, anything to say? Any money to give? Chris does, our incoming president.
Hopefully, after this weekend, I get to spend 3 wonderful days at the president-elect training. So maybe I'll be smarter when I get back on next Thursday.
I hope so. I'll be there representing the Florida Smiles Group on Friday in House of Friendship. Ruth Bowling asked me to do that. Our former member, George Stewart, is setting it up for us also. So he's turned out to be a wonderful Rotarian. Glad I sponsored him. In 1918, Arch Klump was the president of Rotary International. What did he found in that year? The Rotary Foundation, right. The one Rotary Club gave its entire treasury to get the foundation started. It was $26.50. What Rotary Club was that? Kansas City. John got it. Kansas City. They gave their whole treasury. $26.50. From that humble beginning, we've come to a foundation that gives away $100 million every year to help people around the world, which is pretty terrific. John has a few dollars.
What an appropriate thing that you're talking about the foundation. I have $2. $1 is for the member that became a sustaining member this last week. We're short 2 for our challenge. So that's what that next dollar is. And when we make that goal of 15 sustaining members, and you know who you are that have not given, we can. Yes, I do. But please dig deep, make $100 contribution if you're not a sustaining member, and let's go over the goal on the challenge. Thank you. And Mary Ann, what an opportunity to use your Spanish right back there.
Oh, good. Eddie's one. That's one right there, halfway to the goal. Listen, everybody, please don't forget the golf tournament on May the 8th. You know, everybody got behind the poker tournament. There's no reason why, even if you don't play golf, you can't get behind this. Go out and get prizes, get sponsorships, whatever you can do, get players. I mean, everybody knows somebody who plays golf. It's a lot easier to get golfers than it is to get poker players. We had 180 some poker players. No reason why we can't have a giant field playing golf also. We've got our foursome ready to go. I hope everybody else does also. It's a wonderful thing. Please help us. Anybody else? Okay, that's it. Oh, we have some somewhere. Did I miss somebody? Oh, Jim.
So I don't want Eddie to be by himself. Eddie, you going to be number 14? I'll be 15.
All right.
I'll be number 15.
All right.
What a club. That's all I've got to say. That's what.
All right, great. All right, thanks very much. You know, I've been told by a reliable source that the Orange County Convention Center would not be there if it weren't for past President Bill Pieper. A lot of people have told me that, so I'm going to ask Bill Pieper to come up here and introduce our guest speaker. So can you please help me welcome past President Bill Pieper? Come on.
David, thank you. That's not quite true, but I'll take it. Yeah. Anyway, if I may take a moment of personal privilege. One, I'd like to apologize to everybody because the Wednesday edition did not go out, including an acknowledgement of Jim's company as our sponsor. So I apologize for the glitch on that. Will not happen again. The other thing is, John talked about the golf tournament. And not only do we need volunteers and people to help get prizes for the raffle, we still need corporate sponsors. So if you've got a pile of money laying around, see John, because we could really use the sponsors for it. Now, it is my privilege to introduce our speaker. David Tester is the CEO of the Orange County Convention Center. it has been a tremendous asset to this community, largely invisible because it's out there in the hinterlands where most convention centers are in the heart of downtown. Prior to coming to Orlando, he was with the Austin Convention Center. And prior to that, he was with the Chicago Convention and Visitor Bureau, where he was there for some 13 years, I believe. It is a unique facility, and rather than belabor it, I'm going to introduce Mark Tester. Please welcome him to learn more about this. By the way, Mark has been in the business for a long time and it's part of a family business. His dad and I actually worked together 100 years ago, so he was in the business as well. So.
Well, thank you, and it's great to be here. It's great to be in the number one club, representing the number one convention center in the country, and seeing truly one of the greatest people in our industry's history, Bill Pieper. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, certainly at Visit Orlando. But you can't say that maybe the convention center would not be here without you, but we certainly wouldn't be what we are with you. And I am second generation in the industry. And if you noticed at the very beginning of Mr. Pieper's thing, he introduced me as David Tester, and I'm Mark Tester. And I can't tell you how much that makes my day, because David Tester was my father, and I look exactly like him other than lighter hair. And for a long time when I worked, I would get that all the time. My dad passed away in 2014. I miss him terribly. And every now and again, someone calls me David, and it makes my day. So thank you for that. That was tremendous. Am I working the, okay. That's different, but unique to our county. I've been in the industry for 28 years. I came here from Austin, Texas, where I worked for the city of Austin, running their convention center department, much smaller facility. But if you may know, Austin is an incredibly growing town. The facility is growing. They've been looking to expand their convention center for some time. Actually, I worked for 5 years in that project, been gone for 3, and they still have not broken ground yet. And then I spent, as Mr. Pieper mentioned, I spent a number of years working in the Chicago convention community, and at both what is now called Choose Chicago, was the Chicago Convention and Tourism Bureau. So I was actively out pursuing conventions for the city, competing directly against Bill Pieper's Visit Orlando or Greater Orlando Convention Bureau at that time, competing with Orlando and Las Vegas to capture events for the city. And now I've been here 3 years, and there's no doubt my favorite job is the one I currently hold, and that's really because of what this community means and gets as it relates to our industry. Because hospitality and tourism and visitorship is such strong, our community really understands the value of what the visitor brings, and they understand the value of what conventions bring to our community, the economic impact. And so that's something that is entirely unique almost to this city, is to there's a tremendous amount of support and desire. I started actually a month before the pandemic started, and people would often say, boy, that's really a tough timing for you. Boy, that's awful. And I said, well, there's a lot of things I don't know yet about this community, but it makes it a lot easier, especially when you've got elected officials like our great Mayor Jerry Demings, that like you and want you to be successful. And that's not necessarily all the case in other communities. And that's something that we've got here that we should never lose sight of, is the respect and understanding. In the Orange County Convention Center is the crown jewel of the county. And that's what the mayor calls it. We desire to be a world-class facility, and they're going to give us the support and amenities and things that we need in order to do so. And that's the greatest thing we've got going for us, really, as it relates to running our operation. We can go, and we can go on to the next. Thank you. And so we are our vision at the Orange County Convention Center is that the county has the healthiest and most robust economy in the nation. And our mission and the way we operate and the way that we think is all based on that. It is based on bringing people out from outside the community, hosting their event of all different varieties, certainly conventions, certainly trade shows, a corporate meeting, special events, anything that would bring someone from into this community, from outside this community, stay in a hotel room, spend money, and then leave. That is what we do. That is what our business is built around. That is how we make decisions. And you can go back that back slide, two back, sorry. And our value, we call ourselves the center of hospitality. We are customer service oriented. As a matter of fact, when I was at McCormick Place for those years, we often pointed down to the Orange County Convention Center as the model of how to do things and how to provide the best customer service, how to make it easier on customers to do business. We have a mission and a values that we have employees that are engaged in a variety of different services. So we have a full service model at the Orange County Convention Center, where Orange County employees are providing many of the services at a very competitive price that would be provided by a third party in another destination. One of the couple examples for that would be electric. As an exhibitor comes in and is being electric, we provide that service at a very strong discounted base because we're here to drive economic impact. And that is a competitive advantage that we host against Las Vegas and Chicago and some of the other people that we compete with. We do go out and compete with events both nationally and internationally to bring them to Orlando. Our main partner is Visit Orlando, the destination marketing organization that Mr. Pieper ran for many, many years. They go out to the community, they go out to our customers and bring them to us. And of course, we handle the convention center aspect of it. But we were very employee driven and we were very active with our stakeholders, certainly on iDrive as we operate. Because we are there to drive economic impact, we don't position ourselves to make money. The fees that we charge, both for rental and for services that we provide, by design, do not equal what it would cost to run the convention center. And because of that, because of our mission for that, we receive a portion of the tourist development tax, which is currently the 6% tax that's levied on a hotel room bill, just for the fee of the room for that night. And that was, we can go on to the next slide. Thank you. Sorry about that. And so that TDT is what it's called here, is an assessment on a short-term lodging, both hotel and Airbnb and anything under 30 days. That is, it was originally instituted in 1979 with a 2-cent tax that was designed to build what they called the conference center or convention civic center. That is the exact terminology of what it was done, and then increased over time as we expanded to the current 6%. The first 1 to 4 cents is what it's actually operated under a tourist development council plan, and provides a lot of things to our community to help enrich everyone's lives from a tourism point of view. And that money goes to arts, it goes to cultural arts, a little bit of it goes to Visit Orlando, and it also comes to the Orange County Convention Center to cover our debt, to cover our capital expenses and any operating deficit that we may have. The 5th cent is actually covering the community debt, which would be the remainder of our debt, and Dr. Phillips Arena and some Camping World Stadium expenses. We have probably 52% of it, and the last 6 cent goes to Visit Orlando and goes to the Amway Center Arena debt. And that tourist development tax, again, what fuels us, and what almost fuels exclusively, to the most part, about 85 or 90% to Visit Orlando. We can go on to the next slide. And you can just see what has happened. This is the collections over time since 1979 that shows how our community has grown, the TDT over time. And it's split in each cent, but you will see that it continues to grow over time with three small dips, or three dips, significant dips. First was 9/11, 02 and 03 has a significant drop. And then the housing bubble in 9 and 10. And then you'll see the tremendous hit that we took in TDT development tax in COVID. For the month of April of 2020, tax went from probably 25 million budgeted to 400,000 for the month. So it was extreme and it was quick. But you'll see what happened shortly thereafter. And you'll see at this point, as in our community, we are at record high collections. Our hotel community for a very short period of time went to sleep and woke up and changed their rates a little bit higher, and the demand has been absolutely unbelievable. The collections for 2019 totaled 284 million. That was the highest in the history of the county. In this last fiscal year, fiscal 21-22, the total collections were $50 million higher at 336 million. And even better news, we're currently $19 million ahead of 22. So that is showing how quickly this community has recovered. Both our airport now is at 101% of domestic travel or so above where they were pre-pandemic, and are coming back internationally. I don't think they're quite back where they were, but this community has really recovered in an unbelievable quick way. And what this tax does is it leads to future opportunities for this community to develop or to provide more money to culture, to arts, or to sports events, and certainly expansion of facilities such as ours, or renovation of Camping World Stadium, or even Amway Arena. So we did, our industry was devastated by COVID. Business shut down literally almost overnight. Our first event canceled in March of 2020, and literally it was dominoes over the course of days. I actually nicknamed our director of sales the Grim Reaper, because every time he would come to me, he would say, "This event just canceled. This event just canceled." And we went from a jam-packed calendar to literally nothing in a short order of time. The good news for us, and the good news for many people in the state of Florida, was that we remained open for business. And in very short order, we were able to go to the mayor's COVID economic task force and pitch a plan on being able to start hosting events, which we did. And we began hosting events in actually June of 2020, and continued to do so all throughout the pandemic in very safe ways. And we did that through what we called our three-pronged approach. And that was our recovery and resiliency guidelines that we developed with social distancing, and how we were going to do things, and how we were going to get people to meet, how people were going to lay out their floors differently, come in one door, go out at another, certainly with masks and support with testing and whatever they needed in order to feel comfortable. And we actually proved to the industry during some really tough times that we could host events. The Orange County Convention Center opened literally a year prior to Las Vegas and Chicago and some other facilities. In fiscal year 2021, we actually captured 14 conventions from other destinations that could not get the positive estimation that they would reopen. And so we were able to do that in a really, really, really quick way. It still did significantly affect our business. And a couple things happened. One of them I'll talk in detail is we had a big expansion project, construction project started, and because of money from the TDT, we had to pause that. And secondly, we had to look at how to reduce our expenditures, and we did in a big way. We stopped any construction project that wasn't under construction. So if it was in design, we stopped that. We looked to cut down on contracts. But the one thing we didn't do, and this is the proudest thing that we all as our management do, is that we did not have to lay off any of our 472 full-time employees. Through a plan with the county, we actually temporarily reassigned 190 of our staff all around the county. Many of them worked for 311, especially some of our most polished people, and they could do their job, go off the clock, and be a 311 operator and handle people with small business applications for their loan or any of the other COVID projects. And this really helped provide an unbelievable service for the county, because you were getting people that were already trained, that already knew the computer system. They didn't have to go out and find these people to help solve the COVID problem on all the different programs that they were doing. We were able to do that, and that saved our ability to not have to furlough, which was tremendous that we did. We also partnered with the county and with FEMA on providing a testing site, a COVID testing site for literally over a year in our destination parking lot, which was away from a facility other than snaking it at times through our other parking lot. It did not interfere with whatever event that we had. And then later, if you've seen that, we had a drive-in vaccination site in our north building parking lot. And that was great. One of the great thing that is for us is that that was really a lot run by Florida Department of Health, and they became great friends of ours and great partners of ours. And when customers were coming in and they had questions, they would sit down and help them to work through the plan. Orlando Health, one of the big hospital systems here, provided their resources to our customers and developed what we call a medical concierge program, where they worked with the event organizers to set protocols and how to have event and how to do it safely. And so we believe that we came out of COVID a little bit stronger than certainly any other destination, but maybe even in ours. Again, tremendous support from Mayor Demings and the Board of County Commissioners as we all did that. The one market that came back the quickest was amateur athletics. And we were able to capture some additional sporting events to come down here. Families will not buy a new car. They will cancel their personal vacation, but if their child is an aspiring athlete that plays club sports, they will go to it. And I think I've been saying this, and no one has corrected me, but I think girls volleyball is the #1 team sport in the world now. And the club volleyballs work very well with the high school to promote each other. It's not one or other, it's both. And they've been thriving. And now our largest event that we have at the Orange County Convention Center is the AAU Junior National Volleyball Championship in June and July. And 180,000 people came into the community over a 9-10 day period. It's amazing. And I said, I wonder how many pizzas were ordered, how many Subway sandwiches were ordered. And I think Universal could tell you how many tickets they think they bought, but it's a tremendous event for us. And then we were able to really recover. Our last fiscal year probably would have been our record year ever for a couple of reasons. Number one is the calendar of business that we booked, that part of was booked a long time ago by Bill Pieper and Visit Orlando, was as good as it ever had been and was set up to have an all-time record year. But it wasn't quite. And the reason was, number one, was that we had 5 events canceled due to the Delta variant at the very early beginning of our fiscal year. Our fiscal year is from October 1 to September 30th. So this has been October 1, 21, October of 21 to September of 22. And we lost 4 events to COVID, some significant ones to Delta. And then in January, Omicron reared its ugly head. No event canceled, but events that were in the month of January were really compromised in a big way because of what was going on with Omicron. And then February came on. We had one mega event come in, and I was telling Mr. Pieper before, it was the American Association of Home Builders and Kitchen and Bath, 2 mega shows that ended up having about 80,000 people into that area over a 4-day period. And they were in February. They thought their event was really going to be compromised due to Omicron. And then it kind of went away around the third week. It kind of lessened in about the third week of January, and about 5,000 people signed up within the last like 4 or 5 days. And they came in and it was a great event. And it really, a lot of people think, really rejuvenated, and it marks the start of the convention industry all across the country then, because Vegas was now opening, Chicago was opening, but this was at that time was the largest event, and all eyes were on Orlando during that time, as they had been all throughout the pandemic. I literally probably, and without exaggerating, did 50 to 75 different presentations to boards of directors on a variety of different streaming, to exhibitors live, variety of different tapings to talk about what we were doing. And we certainly, and I also received a lot of feedback from my competitors, like, we're tired of hearing you. I'm tired of seeing you. Would you back off a little bit and let us get back to business? So this is right on about where we would normally be on a year. We had 159 events, 1.4 million attendees. That's unique. If you are there 3 days, we count you once, not like a ballpark would, where they would count you every day, with $2.3 billion in economic impact to our community, and making iDrive and the area incredibly robust with economic impact. And again, very, very proud of where we were. We estimate that everyone that comes to an event will spend $2,229. That's the third party estimate that person will bring and reflect into our community. And where we are really this last year, again, I talked about the amateur athletics. That at one point was about 10% of the business that we have. It is now 30%. And it's really good filler. It's really great business, because we can have a major trade event that's meeting during the week. These amateur athletic events are literally courts and other things that come in. They can come in one day. They're not significant move-in times needed, and we can have a big major event happening during the week, and then bam, right as everybody's leaving, we can have a great amateur athletic event where thousands and thousands of families are coming in, whether it's basketball, volleyball, wrestling, cheerleading, bodybuilding. We've got them all, and it is a significant amount of business for us, and one that we want to maintain that level. We have seen events that have buying on the floor do exceptionally well. The IAAPA show, that the International Amusement Parks, of course, as being the capital of the world, we get the capital convention in that marketplace domestically. They had a significantly tremendous show this last year. You know, that event, it's my joke about that event is you could be standing next to a guy in or a woman in a $3,000 suit, and the person next to him is wearing a "I'm with Stupid" t-shirt, because it is literally, and you think about it, that amusements across our country are the American dream for many people. An entrepreneur buys a jumpy house. He comes down here with a horse trailer and buys his first jumpy house, goes and brings it back to his community, and earns the money to buy a next one. You come down this next year and literally buy a jumpy castle and continue to work their way. So there's so many families that own golf carts and arcades and other things all across the country. It literally is families there with dreams to build entertainment empires. But then, of course, you have the theme parks, which are some of the biggest businesses in the world doing it, and it's in a great event. And they had a tremendously strong event this year. I would say that their domestic attendance was significantly higher than what it was. They weren't at an all-time high because international attendance is still lagging, and the biggest challenge has been from certain countries getting visas. And in certain countries, visa wait time in Brazil and some other places can be up to a year. And so that is a real big trouble. And one of the biggest concerns with our industry is getting people to be able to come back to the United States and do business. Cassandra Mate, my counterpart with Visit Orlando, is on the U.S. Travel Association board, and that is their number one priority, is getting the borders back open for business. And so that's certainly what we're seeing right now, is that international, while it's coming back, it's still lagging from certain places. Certainly Asia still would be lagging. And the first events to really go away and the last to come back, and the most that are lucrative really for us is corporate events. So it's Microsoft and some of the big IT companies or pharmaceutical companies that have, number one, have customer events, and then the IT market, that user groups where they bring in people that utilize their IT product to give them trained and to make them understand, like a Microsoft or another large IT company, all were canceled. And it's still, for the most part, that faucet hasn't been turned on. Now, the good news, I guess, in a way, is that they've all went virtual, and them and their customers haven't been face to face. And what we've all learned is there is no replacement for getting together face to face. We saw that, and during COVID, when we had events that came in that were masked, that were socially distances, but people came in and were social animals, and they want to be together. You can't meet a new contact on a Zoom call. You can't have a casual conversation on a Zoom call. You can't sit and have a cup of coffee and network and bounce ideas off each other. You're not going to ever see your competitors and maybe have a nice conversation and pick each other's brains about what you're doing, because you're never going to be together on a Zoom call. So what we've learned is that face-to-face is a necessity, and you've got to have a good reason for people to go. But like for someone that wants to buy a product like IAPA, those events are incredibly strong. And I'll go through a list of some of the events that we've had lately and point out a few of what they're doing and how they've been able to recover. Every event just about canceled in 2020. So and every event in the convention market represents an industry. So their industry was not able to get together. We were talking about architects before, American Institute of Architects. That is their largest meeting for their industry. They get revenue for that association that provides lobbying, provides research, provides a variety of things to support other things they do through that face-to-face meeting, where architects come in, get their advanced education credits and other things like that. But they remained very important. They are incredibly important to those industries because, again, they do so much other things to the business. But the good news is corporate events, we're just starting to see them reawakening. And we have received through Visit Orlando 5 or 6 leads for later 23 and 24 of events that would be significant for this community and certainly significant for us. We received a lead for an IT company in November of 23, so this fiscal year, and their request is for 11,000 rooms per night over a 3-day period. That will be a game changer during that 3-time period, or literally for the move in and move out period. That is truly significant. We had in December, actually this last fall, we received a lead on an event that wanted to do a corporate event. This corporation in the finance field normally did 3 events per year in 3 different regions to reward and to get people motivated about the next year, but really to reward their successes. And they had not had it for 2 years. And the CEO of the company was fed up from living in another city. There was a lot of quality of life issues, a lot of unrest, a lot of politics that he didn't like, moved to Central Florida. Once he got down here, saw how beautiful it was, says, you know what, we need to get everyone back together. Let's do it once. Let's do it together. And they brought 8,000 employees and their families down brought them to Disney, gave them tickets, gave them money for food, gave them money for souvenirs, thanked the spouses, thanked the children for the commitment that their father or mother made to that corporation, and then had an event with us. And it was a one-day party. It was a 6-hour event, and they spent $4 million in food in one 6-hour party. But probably all told throughout the community, maybe spent upwards of 30, 35 million that just got infused into our economy. And we literally started talking to them about 90 days before the event. So that's what we're going to be seeing over the next 23, 24, as to these events coming, reawakening, and us trying to cobble together availability and get them here and get them happening. One thing that's happening over the next couple of years is the Dallas Convention Center, which is a pretty big center, doesn't compare to us. It's less than half of us, but they're going to knock the building down and start over. And so for 4 years, they're basically going to be closed. And so all the business they had in the books is flocking to other cities. And we're going, come on down. Well, we'll take you, and we'll do a great job for you. And unfortunately for Dallas, you may not go back. But that's certainly, every major city in the country and every secondary and third tertiary city has a shiny convention center now. In the 90s, $2 billion a year was in the United States was development of additional space. But they aren't Orlando. They don't have our airlift. They don't have our weather. They don't have our business climate. They don't have nearly the advantages that we have, including that tremendous support. So we are in now what we're at in probably one of our busiest times of the year is those repeat events that we've had for years and years and years. And a couple of them shows that you probably have even heard of. The PGA show has been with us now for over 35 years. They hosted that event last year. It was in January. It was during Omicron, and it was a tough event for them. None of the golf club manufacturers were at the event last year. They all pulled out short term because of Omicron. They all came back this year, and they had a tremendous event that exceeded. I think the number is going to come in definitely higher than that 30 when we figure out exactly what the number is. But a tremendous event for that, and a great partner with us as we operate. The Veterinary Medical Exposition is held annually here in January over President's Day weekend. It's a locally based event. They're great corporate customers, and they had their 40th anniversary this year. One of the things that they did, and this is the reason why I'm pointing it out, is they started. So this is where vets go to get their continuing medical education. So if you're a vet and you want to keep your accreditation, you need to get it somehow. And they provide it in a variety of different ways. But one of the things that they had started even before the pandemic, and then they ramped up, is they started doing a virtual component where you could go to the event, and maybe you want to go back to your hotel, you want to go by the pool, but you could get your credits by watching it online and doing that wherever you are. And many events, while we're shut down, went virtual. So they would do a virtual component to it, put it online, and hope for the best. Many events have pulled back. They generally do not make money. Virtual events do not make money. And so you have to do it in a variety of different ways, or do it for a different reason. But they did it, and they did it well. And what they found out was, and every other event that has done that, especially in the medical market, that is, if you do virtual well and you're in medical education, especially, you will reach people that you never would have gotten before. And so they're actually have seen attendance grow to their face-to-face event because of a strong virtual component. That's the one thing. If you do virtual well, it supports the face-to-face. They actually priced their 40th anniversary event at their 40th year, the original year price, and they had 8,000 more people here than ever had before. So they went from 16,000 or 18,000 to 28, and that was the CEO is Scott. If you know him, Gene O'Neill. from National Veterinary Community. He's got job security right now. Of course, he's got to do it again next year. But just a tremendous sport event. And then events that were coming back, in a big way. On an average, event is either side of 100% under 10%. Just about every event there now is right around where they were within 10% of 19. So people have recovered. We are getting prepared. Matter of fact, if you are not going to go to MegaCon March 30th to April 2nd, if you don't want to dress up in your comics things, don't come to the convention center those days, because on Saturday, especially on Saturday, we'll have probably 50 or 60,000 people in costumes coming in and invading that area all in a 2-hour period. Lastly, and then we're going to go to a quick video, but we had an expansion project that we had done through a long-range plan, and we would be a broken ground on it by now, but we did have to cease the project due to funding. And what we were going to do is we were going to add a concourse and a ballroom and a series of meeting rooms to our north-south building on the Hyatt side of the building, or the Peabody, if you're an old timer, on that side of the newer building. That building was built during and opened in 2003. And TDT at that time was way worse than it is now. And they had to value engineer significant parts of that facility when it opened, and it has not been upgraded since. And so that facility does not have a ballroom and has very little meeting rooms, and it does not connect the two concourses together inside. You have to actually walk outside the facility. So that was one of the projects that we were going to do, was finish the facility. And then secondly, was we were going to add a 200,000 square foot multi-purpose hall on the Hilton side of the facility in one of our parking lots. That sporting events, corporate events, could have big parties, it would have pull-out bleachers. That project is estimated to spend to at that time cost about $605 million. And currently we own 50% of the design. So it was under design, getting ready to break ground when we had to terminate in the middle of 2020. Now that TDT is recovered, the mayor's announced a special TDT task force that will begin convening with about 15 members from all aspects of the community, from business to counter areas to certainly to people in our industry, that will be convening, that will come back with recommendations on what the county should spend the future TDT, certainly with the reserves, which are growing and increasing to 6 to 8 million each month. So there's a significant amount of cash that is building up that could be spent. And so this task force is going to get presentations from anyone interested in developing a project. Camping World Stadium would like to do some improvements. Amway Arena would like to do some improvements. And for us, we would like to get our project get back going. And so we will be bringing that to this council and hopefully getting their recommendation to move forward back again. That will ultimately go to the mayor and elected officials for approval to get us back going. The project in itself, we mentioned, was estimated at 605. We've all seen what's happening with costs. It's probably more like 805. We haven't figured that out yet. But that is something that we want to get back going, and one of our focuses, and we'll be in earnest conversations about next steps, hopefully by the end of this summer. And then yep, and last we've got a video that actually this year is our 40th anniversary, and we've got a little video. Now, okay, it's going, and unfortunately we don't have sound, but really talks about the evolution, and it is emceed and narrated by Mayor Linda Chapin, who is, of course, very part of what occurred at the facility. You can see as we continued to develop develop in around what you see today. And this is the West Building continued to be built. That is truly one of our West Building at 1.1 million square feet of exhibit space. is one of the finest facilities of any size of any building in the country. You can see originally how it looked, but we continue to grow our community. You can see how we are now with 2 buildings with over 7 million square feet of conditioned space on over 400 acres. We are now the 3rd largest convention center in the country. We for many years were 2nd. Las Vegas has done an expansion and they are now 2nd. Chicago is 1st. Las Vegas has the biggest market share. Orlando is 2nd by far, and then Chicago would come in third to us. But there's this nice video that Linda Chapin. This was done by our in-house marketing folks. So we did this with our own staff, and are very proud of where we're at 40 years. Yeah, so I'll go to questions. Thank you.
Thomas Tart, Orlando Utilities retired. Thanks to paying the electric bill. 2 questions. When I would go to meetings in Chicago, downtown, the convention center, I would fly into O'Hare Midway, take a train to town. I didn't have to pay Mears $50 or $100 for a cab ride. Where do you sit on getting a train? You got Brightline fixing to open up to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach. You don't have a train anywhere and you got to pay somebody absorb the fee to rent a car. What are you doing to get a train stop either on this commuter rail or on Brightline? And the second question that you answered too is, I thought COVID was over, but I heard a news report a few weeks ago, there was a decline, 54,000 new cases last month, 45 now. Where do you sit with COVID?
So first with COVID, it really seems to be, at least temporarily, in our rearview mirror. We are ready to implement our masks or whatever the customer would want to do. We have not had a customer require masks for months and months and months. We still continue our detailed cleaning protocols that have all the COVID things. We will not stop that. So we're continuing to act like COVID is there. The other protocols that the customers have really pulled back. Secondly, as it relates to rail, there is a lot of community involvement. You know, I'm as a government official or government employee, I'm not out lobbying or anything like that. But there is a group that is led by the iDrive Chamber and Universal and some other things to put a train station so that, you know, you heard with Brightline, there was significant amount of controversy of where their track would go south onto 417 and stop at Disney and miss this area. Well, I believe there's a coalition that is working to get federal funds that will bring it, and it will end or it will stop. They have a station on some land right next to our destination parking lot. Our destination parking lot was where we did the COVID testing. So that will be adjacent to that. And then we've got to work as a community at some last mile scenario so that you come into the airport with your bags and then you're able to get wherever you're able to go, whether the convention center or something. So that is something that when that comes, that will be on the table as well.
Yeah, Chris Wallace, I'm a government employee, but I work for the other government, the city. But my question for you is, with Epic World being built pretty much right outside your back door, do you think that will be a positive to bring in more events to the convention center?
Absolutely. It's going to be a game changer. I mean, you can see when something is developed like that, that development will come around it. We could use some more big hotels around our convention center that weren't necessarily leisure focused, but business focused. So we could get some bigger blocks. But just imagine a world-class nightlife, adult nightlife scenario a minute away from the Orange County Convention Center's north-south building. It's going to be a game changer, especially for that corporate event. We would like to see more adult entertainment. That would be not, again, adult meaning, you know, like Mangoes or nightclubs or nice restaurants type of thing. We don't want to be Vegas. We do not want any of that, but we're a family. But some more upper end nightlife will be a game changer, especially for that corporate stuff that wants to come in. Imagine you come in and you bring 5,000 of your customers in you have a great day at the event and you want to go have a world-class experience at night, you take them, which they do now, but even a more entertainment type environment will be a game changer. And I think it's going to change the value of the land in and around us significantly.
I'm Jim Haynes, a retired guy, and I was wondering if we've ever had a political convention here in Orlando, and if there's any chance we might get one.
Can I answer that?
Sure, please. And be
That's
blunt.
a politically loaded question. I'll tell you a quick story. At one point, the chairman of the Republican Party lived in Daytona Beach. And Mayor Hood called me and said, we have a real chance to get the Republican convention. And I laid out the economics of it. And the mayor said, I don't think we want to do this. The cost associated with the political conventions is so extravagant. It requires so much corporate support, security. You can correct me, Mark, $20 million just for
At
security.
least.
The convention center goes empty because the party takes it over for 6 or 8 months. The huge loss of revenue, it just economically does not make sense. I jumped in because I didn't want you to get in the middle of that
I'm
political
glad you
discussion.
did. Yeah, you can be, no, that's exactly, you're right on.
It's pretty
100%.
amazing, the cost. Any other questions? Mark, thank you very much for what you do.
I'd like to present this to you here, this little token of our appreciation, hold the bag from the bottom, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mark Tester, let's hear it for him. Okay, Denny, could you come up here? Let's have our drawing and we'll see who the lucky winner is who's going to pull a card out.
Rich, what is the Las Vegas Club up to now with their drawing? Rich? Rich?
I don't think he knows. Okay, well, it's a 007. 040 007. We have a 007 in the room?
Somebody has to have it.
Somebody's got a 007. Take a look at your card.
Who's got it?
What do we do?
Draw another one.
007. We got it?
No,
Oh, all
John's got
right.
it.
Doctor, okay, come on up. Come on up, pull a card.
Just, so you know, John buys $20 worth every week, so he deserves this.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Taggart. Pull out the Queen of Spades. Not the Queen of
It was
Spades.
close,
Well,
6 of spades.
6 of Spades. All right. Well,
That one's good. We're
Take
up
that
over
one out.
$600, guys. I think
All
Las
right.
Vegas is in the $3,000-4,000 range. We'll get there.
all right. Thanks, Dr. Taggart. Thanks, Denny. John Stein asked me to remind everybody, there's a list on the table. This is your food drive items. Please remember to bring your food drive items. And with that, we're going to close. Remember, we're a business club. Do business with Rotarians. Be safe, be well, be involved, be a Rotarian. And now please join me in the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Our meeting is adjourned.